8 days to go, and with time growing short to make their closing arguments, only one candidate has opted for the in-your-face, brazenly divisive, audaciously offensive pitch to his fellow Americans, a kind of coming attractions of what a second Trump president would usher in and unleash on our fellow Americans. It came to a head last night at a rally at Madison Square Garden that the New York Times describes this way as, quote, a closing carnival of grievances, misogyny, and racism, a release of rage, end quote. And this, quote, a vivid and at times racist display of the dark energy animating the MAGA movement. And they got right to it. The racism started right out of the gate, no warm-up. With one of the opening acts, this comedian named Tony Hinchcliffe, or Cliffy. Normally, we would never platform this kind of racist rhetoric, but there are 8 days to go, and this is who Trump picked to speak to the country with 8 days to go. So we think it's important that you know who Trump picked and what he said.
There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there.
How bad do you have to be to offend a crowd who chose to go there? That bad. Now, the Trump campaign is distancing itself, even though they saw the speech and loaded it into the same teleprompter from which Donald Trump read hours later. But they're saying this, quote, the joke does not reflect the views of President Trump or the campaign. But again, as the Daily Beast is today reporting, quote, the comedian's remarks were preloaded into a teleprompter, indicating that they would likely have been vetted by the Trump campaign in advance. But take the joke guy out of it, because it wasn't just a comment from a comedian. Here's what the main events had to say, Trump surrogates.
She is some sick that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a... The whole party, a bunch of degenerates, lowlives, Jew haters, and lowlives. Every one of them.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist.
She's a fake, a fraud. She's a pretender. Her and her pimp handlers will destroy our country.
It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support.
How on earth is Fox getting by without him? So then the real, the meat and potatoes of the night, Trump. He took the stage 2 hours late, and then following those men, spewing hate and division and grievance and straight up racism and jokes so bad the MAGA crowd didn't laugh at them. Trump had every opportunity to pivot, right? He had a platform to say, you know what? That's not how I'm going to govern as president. Turn the temperature down, push back on the ugly rhetoric that preceded him. But he went with this instead.
But they're smart and they're vicious, and we have to defeat them. And when I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy, becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. Not going to be happening. Not going to be happening. November 5th, 2024, 9 days from now, will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be Liberation Day. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history.
The guy who couldn't get COVID tests across town is going to launch the largest deportation. Even if you like that stuff, why do you think he could actually do it? And make no mistake, going with hate as a closing argument is his choice. It's Chris LaCivita's choice, Susie Wells, the people associated with him. They have chosen this. But it's also an MRI of the entire Trump movement, arguably an MRI of Donald Trump, the man. It's also, as the Daily Beast reports, quote, political suicide, because taking a wild racist swing at Latino voters, every Puerto Rican voter in the country 8 days out from Election Day, quote, will almost certainly alienate more voters who might have voted for Trump. And it is hard to imagine that it has earned him one single new vote. By all measures, a moronic political strategy, which leaves one explanation. One, maybe he's not trying to win, and also this is who he is. It's also important to tell you today that this exact location does have echoes in history, in our country's history, its ugliest chapters. Later in the program today, we're going to be joined by legendary documentary filmmaker Ken Burns, and you might remember his three-part series on the U.S. and the Holocaust. It included footage from the now infamous pro-Nazi rally in 1939 at Madison Square Garden.
No group was more adamantly opposed to admitting Jewish refugees than the German-American Bund. 20,000 members would fill Madison Square Garden on Washington's birthday. They were led by Fritz Kuhn, a German immigrant who fancied himself the American Führer.
What we are actively fighting for under our charter. First, a social, just, white, Gentile-ruled United States.
White rule of the U.S. Got it? So the location, the message, white rule of the United States. The parallels are right there in front of all of us.